Hello friends, let's make a wise dragon hand puppet. This craft is a little more ambitious. If you've been following along and trying out other crafts in this series, we're building on some of the techniques that we've already used. This one just takes it a step farther. We'll need 3 full sheets of construction paper or cardstock paper to make the majority of the puppet. You've got a color for the top of the head, the jaw, and the horns. I'm also going to use a few extra scraps here to add some other color to line the mouth, tongue, that sort of thing, eyes. And the tools we'll need are a pair of scissors, a glue stick, and some tape. Let's begin with the top of our head. Since I'm going to have a primarily purple dragon, we'll start with this sheet here. First thing we want to do, fold our sheet in half. Give ourselves a nice crease right along here. We want to fold this corner over about 1 inch away from that center crease and all the way back to this corner of the paper. I'm going to use these to score that line. Now we'll do the same here, about 1 inch away from the center crease, all the way down to this corner. Now I'm actually going to fold this corner under just a bit, likewise with this one. Fold them in a bit, because we need to pinch these pieces in like this, create the snout for our dragon. So I'm actually creating a triangular shape right here. And with a nice, generous piece of tape, we'll tape this into place. Now let's make our first cuts. Along the center, we'll cut about 2 inches deep. Along this folded edge, the same depth, and also along this edge, to the same depth. This is our flat side, this is a peak. This flap, we will cut in half to the same depth. Over here, we'll do the same. Let's fold this panel back here. We see this triangle right here. We're going to be recreating that triangle with a couple of folds. Cut up to the point. Fold in. Fold in. Now, fold this piece in the other direction. We take this flap, fold it over, down, use a piece of tape. You can support it from underneath. This piece, fold it over and down. These two pieces, we're going to curl back. It'll make the nostrils. Now ultimately, I want glue to hold this, but we'll use some tape to hold it in place while the glue sets. And then this piece of tape, don't push it down too hard because we're going to want to lift it back off. There are our two nostrils. Now, let's make our next cuts. Halfway between these two folds right here, we're going to make a cut about 3 inches deep. Same here, equidistant between the two. Let's fold this piece up. And now we're going to fold this corner in, and likewise over here. And then one more fold. Now we've made an area for the eye. These make nice sort of dragon fins. Not deny. Now let's come over to our horns for a moment. We'll start by folding our piece of paper in half twice. Then we'll flatten. On one side, we'll cut all the way up to the halfway point. And then do a small cut this direction, a small cut that direction. From here, we're going to cut pretty drastically in, but leave a good inch right here. Don't cut the piece all the way off. Likewise over here. I'm going to put 2 pieces of tape over those 2 sections that I didn't cut to just help reinforce them. Make sure it doesn't tear there. Now we'll start by folding in this edge all the way to the point here. From the beginning of our cut, all the way up to the point. From this corner, all the way to the point as well. Let's do the same over here. From here to here. We're going to continue to fold these round. And with our last flap, we'll do a similar thing with the nostrils. We want it glued ultimately, but we'll use a piece of tape to hold it in place until the glue sets. Now we need to fold away a lot of this right here, kind of get it out of the way. We can fold this under here. The idea is that it will slide directly into our head here. Let's fold our horns in the opposite direction here to make them more dimensional, popping them out into a cone. To hold our horns in place, we want to cut a little line here and here. This will tuck in just like that. And again, I want to do glue held in place with tape. Yes, we had a little tear here. It looks okay. Now let's create the eyes for our puppet. Fold over the paper about this much. We're going to trace along the outline. Turn this into a rectangle, shaving off some at the front there, blocking off those corners. Let's fold on the inside of that line that we drew. So what I've done there, just on the inside of it. Now, let's fold down this corner. I'm really going to score these edges here. I'm going to move my brow back to follow the shape of the eye a little more closely. First thing I'm going to do is lock my eyes in at the angle that I want them. So a little piece of tape here and here will get your eyes popping out in just the right angle. Now I want to put some glue right here. Move it all the way to the back there. And then we'll want some glue right here and a piece of tape to hold it in the meantime. Okay, let's focus on the jaw for a moment. We begin the same way, folding our sheet in half along the length to find our center point. And then we're going to fold this in a little bit more drastically, about 1/2 inch from the center fold, and then likewise over here. The reason I like to do this is so that the jaw, slightly smaller, just sits just inside the top of the mouth. We'll need to fold our corners in here. And now we fold over just like this. Piece of tape to hold all of this in place. Now let's make a few cuts here. We'll cut about 2 to 3 inches in here along this folded edge and along this folded edge, all to the same point. These flaps we're going to cut in half, again down to that same point. This piece I'm going to fold up. We're going to find this triangle here and cut it. Do you see that? And since there's so much paper here, I'm actually just going to cut this. Fold it in the opposite direction now. So it just tucks in. These pieces fold over and down. Piece of tape. This one over here, over and down. Piece of tape. These pieces are kind of like the whiskers, so I'm actually going to cut them to a point. And then make them organic, kind of break up the shape a little. This is how we're looking thus far. Let's take some black paper. Fold it in half. Place the head on it. Center the fulcrum of the jaw up just like you'd like it. Now we need to trim some off so it rests just inside the mouth. I'm going to round the corners here. Let's have a look. Once we've got it lined up here, make a mark. Cut along that line. Here we'll do the same. These will just fold in here. Now we'll need to cut the center line all the way up to this and cut a little bit extra here. Just cut to either side. This is going to give your thumb room to move. Use a piece of tape to hold down our panels here. And again, we can make this like the webbing. Now let us join the head with the jaw. I like to coat both surfaces that are being covered. Make sure everything's lined up the way you want it. Jaw is oriented well. Now you can use inside and the outside to press. Oh, let's make a tongue real quick. Fold this piece over like this. I'm going to use my last little bit of glue. While this glue sets, I want to use a little piece of tape to just hold these together and make sure it glues just the way we'd like. Well, I hope you enjoyed making a wise dragon with us today. A wise one? Is there anything you'd like to add? Yes. Yes, you are indeed wise. For calling me wise, because I know all of the whys, wherefores, and how so's. I also know the X's, the Y's, and the Z's. Wow, you sort of lost me there. Yes, I tend to have that effect on people, because I am so wise. Okay, bye.